Yeah, what's up? And TikTok, of course. And we're joining other Facebook and other YouTubes and whatever. I'm Yogi Chris, captain of IMC Nation, and I'm streaming to you from IMC Pegasus House, home base here of IMC Nation in Las Vegas. Recently moved here. What's up, people, as you're joining? And this is mostly for guys, but girls, they tune in. I know my girls watch a lot of these on my Enlightened Masculinity YouTube, so shout out Enlightened Masculinity. That was my podcast. It's on Spotify. You can catch all kinds of episodes. Has always been an IMC Nation podcast. In the beginning, I was doing multiple podcasts. I was trying to use this tech. I was trying to get better at this tech that we learned from AZD. AZD, top player on earth, multiple beautiful relationships, perfect order. Doesn't mean girls don't break up or whatever, but it's just on such levels and such abundance and such depth, intimacy, and such quality that it's unparalleled. I haven't seen it. The only thing I've seen is very rich, very handsome playboys, like extremely rich, like $250 million or something. Rich playboys, and they don't have this orderliness. They still, I mean, just from my training with ACD, they still have beta qualities in how they carry themselves, and they're just rich, very handsome, highly successful men, hyper successful. And there's only a few of those on Earth that I've seen. And then there might be something like, sultans or something from like the Middle East that have a harem of women, but it's different. That is archaic how they're doing it, and again, it's with hyper success and money and whatever. So it's not with game in the realm of men doing game, just which is what, like, it's not that money is not part of game. It's yeah, Sultan's a very cool guy, actually. But I don't mean that. I mean like the sultans of the Middle East, or whatever they're called. The Maharajas are like in India, or whatever. What was I saying? Oh, game. In the realm of game, using communication skills and character, reputation among other people, money is part of that. It's like there's always character and there's always money. And if you lack character, you got to make up for it with money. And if you lack money, you got to make up for it with character. And at the highest levels on earth, you do need both. But it's always going to be in this proportion. For example, the guys or the girls that AZD's going for have a lot of other guys going for them that some of them probably have much more money than AZD. So how do you compete with that with character? There'll always be somebody with more money unless you're the richest. And then just give it time, you're eventually not going to be the richest. I guess you could say there's always somebody with better character, but I don't see, like, there's not schools of philosophy and companies of groups of guys training character. People will address character, they'll mention it sometimes, in religious circles or some personal development circles, or even in like the military, they'll talk about, man of character and this and that. But they're not calibrating it. Character for what? Like if you were playing the role of a hobo and you were acting like a regular white guy, you're not in character, dude. You're not doing the character right. If you were playing the character of a rich guy, but you were walking around like just a regular white guy, you're not playing the character well. So are you studying the character of a rich guy? Or are you studying the character of a hobo? What kind of character are you trying to be? The military man's trying to be a man of loyalty and this and that. And, other characters, a religious character, a man of God. Like, cool. We're in the game, so we're talking about the kind of character that gets women. And so the pickup artists are developing whatever character qualities get women, but they are very two-faced, split inside, where they're portraying a certain way to get the girl because it gets results to say it this way, do it that way, whatever. But internally, they're not authentically the kind of person that would do that. They're doing that to get the girl. And okay, so we learn better ways of being, and I get it, we want to get girls. But you just see it, the success of that strategy. It's not that I'm knocking that strategy just theoretically, because I get it, the whole fake it till you make it. You got to try on new ways of being, new ways of speaking, and if it does better than the old ways, of course you're supposed to upgrade. It's not inauthentic to do that. But you can tell the inauthenticity of their whole movement and their whole modus operandi, like how they are doing what they're doing, because they crash. They crash. They can't keep the women around. And they have bad reputation, they can't keep their own students around, they can't keep their business associates around. That's why RSD fell apart. That's why Mystery School, like all those teachers are off doing their own thing and they don't collaborate like that. He's got to collaborate with other people. That's why all of their student bodies are dwindling and don't really stick around. You might think, well, IMC Nation, you only have 190 people or whatever, and paying members, right? That they're paying their dues. They're in the spiritual gang. You know, they pay their spiritual gang dues. We're not a gang like that, but we're definitely a spiritual gang, and we are tough, and we are fighters, and we are killers, and we are that. But we're not territorial red gang, blue gang, this and that. Like, that's not just what it is. We're not violent either, and we're not criminals. So that's the difference. But we're capable. And a lot of military guys and police officers in the members. So that, you may think, well, AZD's information is so potent. We watch these clips on these accounts, and there a lot of people over time, myself included, but I've heard it from other people since my time, have said AZD should be much bigger. There should be millions of followers. It should be viral. And a lot of people have suggestions. Do it like this. Do it like Andrew Tate. Do it like fucking Ty Lopez. Do it blah, blah, blah. Do it like Grant Cardone. Like, those guys are marketing gimmicks, because if you got closer and closer to them, their character is not what you're looking for if you're an IMC Nation, if you're attracted to this kind of information, because this is what gets the girl. This isn't pursue millions and millions of dollars so that you can get the girl. This isn't pursue whatever, perfect body so that you can get the girl. This is just get the girl. And then all those other things actually come with it. You actually have to learn personal development and, you know, health and wellness. You have to have some understanding of it. Like, you know, philosophy and book learning, like Ty Lopez, and whatever. You got to do it all, actually, to get, because all of those are ingredients to a rounded man, a man of value. They're just avoiding the subject because they actually don't know how to get women. If they've gotten women, they've gotten it because of their money, their body, their fame, their prestige, and whatever. And again, it's always in proportion. You got to have some of that, whether it's $1 or $1 million. But you could literally, with character, have a half-crippled body, not making much money, and get girls, as Prophet chose. Now, he was doing better when he was closer to us. He's off doing a job now, making money. If he ever makes it to Vegas, he'll explode, even though he's half-crippled because of an accident that happened. He wasn't born that way. So, it is possible with character. The woman seems to be capable of overlooking money, physique, and this and that for character, because she needs guidance in life. And she needs guidance from somebody that she wants to listen to their guidance. So you got to be the kind of guy that she wants to listen to. It's not just enough that you know. If she's not listening, it's worthless to her. So how do you be the kind of guy that she wants to listen to? That's the character. Because even if she's married or totally devoted to you know, the hyper successful, rich, handsome, celebrity, well-connected guy, if you have the kind of communication that she still wants to listen, you could have her. Because you're the kind of communicator that she wants to listen to. So then you just guide her. Just keep her listening. And then this level of game, because of multiple relationships that the level AZD teaches, yeah, you can bend your words and you can deliver a package specific for that person, and sometimes you fib, because just like a girl wears a push-up bra, her breasts aren't like that. She shaves her legs aren't that hairless. She puts on makeup, her cheeks don't look like that. Her nose doesn't, like, she does her hair, that's not her natural hair. She's doing all sorts of things to signal, I'm healthier, here's some big eyelashes, look how healthy I am. My eyelashes grew so long. She's faking. So guys can fake also. It's allowed, actually. She won't like it, but that's only because she feels like you're manipulating her. She doesn't mind it if it makes her more attracted to you, as long as it's not a downstream consequence. For example, you get with a girl and she's let's say she's got great breasts, push-up bra, everything. Come to find out they're completely fake, not like implants, but like it's like a bra padded. And she had breast surgery or whatever that removed her breasts. She didn't even have breasts. Or she was just completely flat-chested and she had a completely fake bra. It was totally fake. Versus she had some flapjacks or something. You would appreciate that she had a push-up bra if she had some flapjacks. But if she had no breasts at all, you would feel duped. She needs breasts to milk the baby. You will genetically not be attracted to her if she can't. And so the man, he... let's say he pretends like he's tough. He can stand up to shit. And she falls for that character where he's like a bad boy, pretend like bad boy or whatever. But then she's hanging out with you, and at some point somebody in the environment challenges you and you're a pussy. She got duped. So it's not okay. I mean, okay, you can get away with it, but it's not going to work in the long term if you're completely faking it. There's got to be some reality there. You're just delivering it in a way that she gets it. Like, you might be a little guy, but you can fight. And she believes you're the toughest man on earth, and nobody can beat you because of how you carry yourself. The reality is, you're a little guy, man. Mike Tyson or some enormous man that knows how to fight. It's going to be really tough, even if you're Kung Fu master, knowing all pressure points and everything, to beat that guy. But that's fine. That's not such a deception. You carry yourself like the toughest man on earth, and it's okay. You just don't want her being totally attracted to you only for that reason. It's just a bait. You got to have all these other character qualities. So, what was I saying? In this game of multiple relationships, you could, package it specifically for a person. But at the end of the day, you can't be compromising your integrity to get this girl, because it's going to be revealed to the other girls, whether they find out or just in your own demeanor. You will weaken yourself if you lie in a way that was deceptive and manipulative, not for the other person's good. Blah, blah, blah. So, I'm like lecturing now, but the point of this talk was the evolution of IMC Nation AZD teachings. AZD IMC Nation teachings. Obviously, AZD is the founder, and I live with him, and I lived with him for years, and I was a student for many years before that also. Got into it because of the game and all the women and everything. And so when I first came around, I have a document that's called the IMC Evolutions Document, and it lists out all the programs and everything and how it happened. If you skimmed through that and read that, you might notice some patterns. You would notice some repeat titles that happen after maybe 8 to 12 months or something, a title repeats. Or concept repeats like Animus or Chosen. Or then there might be other titles that you don't really understand, like Spellbinders is very similar to I Am Zapar. It's also very similar to Love Spell. And you may not realize that all those are very similar. You may not realize that Alpha Attraction is Animus, is Awaken the Beast Within. Those are all the same subject. They're just branded differently, slightly different language, slightly different focus. But it is that same theme delivered with new information because he keeps evolving. He keeps sticking at it. Anybody that's doing your craft, your skill, whatever you get paid for, you do it. 6 months later, you're better. You have new information. And if you get to the top of the world, which is really out of the reach for most people to ever even experience interacting with somebody that's the best in the world. Like I experienced the best in the world wrestlers, Olympic gold medalists I was training with. The best in the world in academia. In my sub-discipline of environmental sciences, these were the guys. I was at the school with the top professors, and I was the top graduate student. So I had an experience, and, maybe some other stuff. In yoga, what I was doing, I was at the best. I'd narrowed my niche down, so I was only working a few angles. I wasn't doing the whole subject of yoga. But at that, and the results that I could deliver with that, I was so certain and confident because I was among the best at that. If only among the best in the ability to deliver how to do it, and the willingness to do it, to go out, find business, and then deliver the message to them. To those people, I was the best because I was the guy that was there doing it for them. So when you're the best at something, 6 months later, you're very different. You've innovated a lot to where if you go back to the same students that you taught 6 months ago or 12 months earlier, the same technique, you have something different to offer about it. So AZD is at the top of this game, at the top of the field. And it's a field that 5 billion men are competing in. It's the biggest competition on Earth. Get the best women. So it's not just my little sub-discipline of environmental sciences or my little niches in yoga or whatever. It's the whole world. A lot of men, they're deceiving themselves, they're lying to themselves, they don't think they're in the game. Obviously some men are too young, some men maybe, who knows, they're impotent or something. And there may be the very, very, very small fraction of men that are actually content and fulfilled with whatever their marriage or something that they've taken themselves out of the game. I don't know. I'm just throwing that in there as like a maybe. It could be. I don't know that any men are. But you're competing with everyone. And you might think you're only competing with men in your vicinity, close geographical proximity. If you're in a tourist town like Vegas, then really your proximity is much bigger because everybody from everywhere in America comes through Vegas. And if they go to the same clubs we go to, they have the potential to connect with that person. So now I'm competing with the rich motherfucker from Miami or New York or Chicago or wherever that comes to Vegas. Because he is also exposed to the top girls that I'm exposed to, that AZD's exposed to. And now in the internet age, that same top bitch has the Instagram and whatever to get any man anywhere. That's why she could get invited to Abu Dhabi or something. She never met anybody from Abu Dhabi. She got discovered online or whatever. And, you know, God never takes something without giving something. So, to the man that has philosophy and wisdom, he knows that that experience of life is completely going to destroy that woman. That there is no happiness or fulfillment at the end of that line. However, she's brainwashed into thinking so. And she's so enticed and enslaved by money that that's what she might do that. So, it's a difficult task to overcome that. It's not that I'm going for girls going to Abu Dhabi, but girls have men throwing themselves at them, money thrown at them. They have at their fingertips men from all around the world. What did God give man as opposed to what? He's giving women that. What's men got? Okay. To the man with philosophy that can overcome that woman, you can be secure in that. Because what it takes to overcome that advantage that women have makes you untouchable by other men. Once you get that girl, and it's not that the girl will never leave, because there's a lot of traps in the brain, in the mind, on this earth. A lot of psychological traps through brainwashing and media and all kinds of wrong belief systems. And indeed spirituality and demons and spirits and whatever that take her over. They take over control. So it's not that you'll never lose a girl. It's just you're not going to lose a girl to another player that comes along and has better character than you. When you're the best in the world or you're learning from the best in the world, you are separating yourself so much. You know, like the other day, yesterday, I think I was at the park and I had a little conflict with my girl. The way she was treating the situation and whatever. We both made mistakes. And it's amazing. Her mistakes are inadequate communication. My mistakes are inadequate communication. Her mistakes were lack of respect. My mistakes, I don't know if it was lack of respect so much as lack of respect of the fact that she is clueless about what I'm doing and I didn't lead properly. I have to face that. I can get as frustrated as I want about fucking follow. I don't care if it's blindly. I'm doing my shit here. If you don't understand something, either ask a question or just do what I do. Just do it and quit complaining. But at the end of the day, she's not a robot. You can't force the person. You have to somehow transfer understanding if you want their cooperation. We resolved it. There was also another thing that happened right before. It was a whole package of things that happened. And the resolution happened through communication. And afterwards I say, it's amazing I communicate so well. Even though my mistake was communication. That's what it is. When you're at the cutting edge of things, you still make mistakes. You're just able to solve your mistakes. You're not clueless about what's going on. It's like it's like a wrestler who's high level watching film of himself wrestling and realizing, my elbow was out. That's why he got under my arm. I got to keep my elbow in. You are able to correct yourself because you're at a high enough level that you can see flaws. And even the top gold medalists have coaches. Because that's just what it is. That's Earth, right? You have mentors. Figure it out for yourself. You're not going to get as far as a guy that has a mentor. So, what was I saying? So the ability to resolve that communication, I could easily be secure knowing that my girl will never ever be seduced away from me by a man who could communicate better than me. She may be seduced away by money. She may be repelled because I've become a kind of character that she just doesn't like anymore. Unlikely, but possible. She may be triggered by some demon or something where she starts putting a lens on everything in a way that's totally... That happens. See, that sounds so horror film fantastical, but that is actually what's happening on Earth. That's not the subject for this podcast right now, but shit like that can happen. She could be taken over and leave. But it's not going to be where another man communicates better to her and gets her from me. The same way that I could communicate better to a girl and take her from her man because she's liking him for reasons other than his character and communication. She likes parts of that, but it's other things. It's a lot of relationships are just relationships of convenience. It's just convenient. They're settling. That's what settling is. That's why men shouldn't settle down unless you want to make a family. Because that is what was it I just said before settling? It was a word. It's not compromise. It's other. She likes other qualities about the guy. She's well, whatever the word was. It makes sense to me to settle on a partner that maybe isn't the highest value in everything if you're going to make a family with that person, because that enters into the equation this variable of motherhood and the ability to raise family. And that is a quality of personality, many qualities, but that's a kind of character, a female character, that well, that's just a special thing. That's obviously, it's a very important role. And it's not very visible, is what I'm saying. So we may be attracted to certain qualities about women, and it's not visible motherly qualities until you get to know the girl. So you actually have to get to know her. Okay, so that's enough on that. I was talking about, so the character in other pickup camps and schools and companies or whatever, and men's coaching and whatever, is not this. They're going around the subject of getting women, thinking that they're improving their character, or they don't even use the terminology of character. So we go right at it. And the evolution of the trainings has been that. It's been a philosophy that's a living philosophy. So it's organic. It evolves, it changes. Certain ideas get put out. Other ideas maybe get replaced or modified as new understandings come in. The ideas are worded differently, which is actually a change in the idea, because if you change the wording, it changes the meaning of the whole sentence. If you change the meaning, then the whole teaching changes. So that's what updating the language of how to present an idea actually refines the idea and whatever. And then the movement, the IMC Nation movement, is actually, even if it's 179 people right now, or 180 at the time of this, 190 at the time of this, that is bigger and stronger than every other movement that's even remotely related. The military is bigger, but can anybody argue that military men are terrible at relationships? Like, who would go for they're great at relationships? They're not. They're the worst. Or any of the other movement, RSD or any of these. I don't even know these new camps, companies or whatever. I see some of them, but there's no. I don't see the other guys. Even the top pickup coaches that we tout, Mystery and Hypnotica and Vince Kelvin, followings are weak. Where are they? I don't get it. What's going on? So this is happening where a whole army of players are being trained under AZD, and everybody's at different levels, and everybody's growing at a different rate, and there's a lot of variables in that equation. Like, you got to have money, so you got to have a career. So you got to have, what is it? And what is that career? What's your level of integrity with making money? Like, do you feel good about it? Are you a cheap salesman, used car salesman, or are you selling drugs or whatever? Like, you got to solve the money equation, but you also, how you make your money, it plays a vital role in how you game with women. How you do one thing, how you do everything. If you have a sleazy, undermined attitude with your business, that's going to translate to you. You're not righteous with women, and then you're fucking a sleazeball in your business, or vice versa. You're not clean. You're not sleazy with women and clean in business. Just doesn't work like that. So the teachings have always been his philosophies, pulling from all the different schools of thought that he's pulled from, Manu and Eastern mysticism and pickup and psychology and Scientology and whatever pulled into it. And the delivery of that. The delivery of that was so good because of experienced teaching, and also the actual success with women. So that the information is actually what works with women. It's not just theories from books written by guys that don't get women. It's not just sound bites that come from pickup artists who get women, but they can't keep women, and they definitely can't keep multiple women. How respectable and admirable as a man would you have to be for multiple beautiful women to be all right with you being with multiple beautiful women and stay with you and let their whole world know about it and fuck off everybody that has anything to say about it and commit themselves to you? You'd have to be quite a male character to them. So AZD's teaching from that what works for him, of course. And then the feedback from the student body calibrates the teachings, as any teacher knows. So it starts getting modified. More self-awareness happens. That's the addiction of teaching. You get a lot more self-awareness. I get more self-awareness doing this podcast. That's why I originally started podcasting. Was just to practice talking about IMC Nation stuff because I had nobody to talk to about it because I was not living in a base. It was just everybody like Kalev or whoever. You're out. Who do you have to talk about this shit with? Nobody. The closest you'll get is some kind of pickup guy that you can kind of talk pickup stuff with. But as soon as you really do IMC Nation ideas, he's going to disagree. And then it's going to be an argument. Or you're going to have to let it go. And the only solution is to pull him into IMC Nation. It's never going to be adequate. It just won't be. You know? And the level of friendships I have with guys outside of IMC Nation is very limited to people that are in my life, like the bouncer at the club. And it's very superficial until they get closer. Because it's not because I try to be superficial. I know so much more about that guy than he'll ever know about me. Because I know man psychology, male psychology. I understand what he's going through, and he doesn't have a clue what I'm going through. This is a one-sided friendship. Why should I want to be friends with him? You've got to have something to offer. And that's where you get the guys in IMC Nation. So it's not that AZD sought us out as friends. We became friends. We were all clients. But you would also want your top clients to be your friends. You are interested in them getting it, and they get you more than anybody else on earth. Especially if you're as prolific as AZD and you've been lecturing every day for years and years and years. There's so much information out there. Hence, Yogi Chris is vital to AZD for at least one reason, that I understand him more than practically every guy. Maybe I might say every guy. You know, different elements of him I haven't been exposed to, like his jiu-jitsu teacher, his acting coach is dead, his own father, obviously. But as far as guys playing this game with him, I might not even be the best player, whatever, but next to him. But I get what he's doing more than other guys. So I can move with him as he changes, because he's at the top of his field, the spearhead of his movement, and he changes very fast. So that's what the document I was talking about. The document has the list of all these programs, and you see the changes. Each title is a different brand of the philosophy. Literally. So if there's 30 different kinds of titles, it's 30 different ways of presenting what he's doing, which has different results and different language, and it's different. And it stretches your mind as you study all of those 30 different ways. Let's say, I don't know that it's 30, but let's say 30 different ways. It stretches your mind about the subject. You don't get pigeonholed or confined into a way of thinking about it, because it's no one way of thinking is the complete answer. The culture itself is evolving and changing. It's an organic system. The dating game, the mating game, men and women. It's an organic system. You're not going to get a cut and dry answer. 2 + 2 is 4 for the rest of eternity. Nowhere is it not going to be 2 + 2 = 4. However, what's the right way to say hello to a girl? Hi. Okay, yeah, but what if you're in a Native American culture and this means something else? It's contextual. But in Native American, 2 + 2 still equals 4. So there are some universal truths, and there are some that are very contextual. Game is extremely contextual, but the confusion of all the dating coaches on earth is they are missing the fundamental truths that don't change. Mystery got the closest to that, but it ends at the end of the pickup because he doesn't have those principles for relationships. So it's like the physics of air flight versus the physics of space flight, or the physics of air flight versus that's a pretty good analogy, actually. You know, the physics of a sailboat versus the physics of a fucking submarine. It's still built on the other. One is built on the other. But it's just a different level of the same laws of physics. One has much less understanding of physics, otherwise they would do it. You know? Okay, so that's the IMC Evolutions document and all the teachings. there's a lot of, my girl's about to be here, so I'm going to have to go and get that food and then eat and whatever. The big changes in the IMC Evolution. First, I came around. Then the coaches that were there dropped off, Malachi and Aikido. Within a few months, a guy from Germany named Ibo came in, was a student, and was like, I can redesign your website. So he did. That became seductiveinstinct.com, I think, but then it changed to thearashdibazar.com, then it changed to arashsapar.com. That's what it is right now. So he organized all that. That's a whole era. With that came the Diamond Mind program. So that was the start of like weekly lectures that were affordable for everybody, and that started the online mentorship program. That became Love Spell, that became the No Fucks Given podcast, that became the mentorship program. Love Spell became Lion's Den became Brotherhood of the Beast, became Dragon's Lair, then it became fucking Midday Gospel or something, then Alpha Academy, the AZD Mastermind University, then it became Temple of Christ, now it is The Game, is what it's called. But that all started with Love Spell and maybe even Diamond Mind. And that's what happened when Ebo came in. He catalyzed all of that. Then Yogi Chris was there at that, but he was just a student. There were all kinds of programs and stuff happening in there. But at some point during the No Fucks Given podcast era, the Tabiat program came out, $25,000. I did it. I didn't have the money. I found the money. I was far short. Far short. I had almost none of it. And I found the money. After that, he said, Yogi Chris, I want you to fill the events. I just want to do what I'm doing. You do the business. A new era starts. About a year and a half later, the first base opens where we move. The top guys who did the 25K program, some of them moved to San Jose, lived with AZD for 3 years. That was 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago. Lots of changes happen. New bases open up. Guys move in from across states to those bases, those other bases in different cities. Then, 8 months ago, we decide, let's move to Vegas. It's better for business. California sucks. Sucks. So, January of this year, we moved to Vegas. All the bases moved to Vegas except one. One stayed in Los Angeles. And they're dropping off. They're falling off. Too difficult. It's not easy. Vegas actually isn't easy. So we moved for a new era. A whole new era. So there was the Tabiat, the 25K program, moved into the base operations, and now we're in Vegas. A new era again. And then through all of that, the camps are happening. And the camps have different characters. And shifts are happening. Other shifts happen in there, like the private moment exercise gets revealed. The private moment exercise happened sometime after we opened up the first base. It was never taught before that. It was talked about, Manu Tupo and the private moment, whatever, but it was never, ever shown or taught. I remember, I was there. I was the first one to do it, actually, after AZD demonstrated it. And that's a whole era. And there's other exercises. Private moment's just the first exercise. There's others that are called different names. And, other things happened. We reopened the fight center. He had a fight center, but nobody in IMC Nation lived in San Jose. He had his fighting students, and they were IMC Nation, but they weren't learning game from him. So it gradually got more and more separated because you can't be a player around non-players. It just doesn't work. Not in the long term. That's why all of your friends, get ready to leave them. They're not going to be very good friends for very long, or you're going to plateau at a very low level with IMC Nation. And it's not because we demand it, it's just because the information is so potent and so taboo that good luck, you'll have to be inauthentic to keep them as friends. Which is fine. Maybe you want to keep them around for nostalgia's sake. Like they were a high school friend or whatever. Cool. Be friends. So the private moment era. So we opened a fight center and we start learning fighting from AZD, which has a lot to do with character development. And so all of our mindset starts blossoming more as we start fighting with him. Not with him, but under him. Whatever. A little bit with him. And, we'll open that up again here in Vegas. Those are probably the big eras. The beast process happened. That's very related to the when we based up. That was a direct alignment with that. The base operation is exactly the beast process when that first started. And that's a whole era where a whole physical routine and a philosophy of lifestyle and scheduling was codified and packaged so that people could, around the world, duplicate AZD's lifestyle by learning the system of scheduling and the system of training and the system of eating and the system of character development. That's where it first got branded as character development. Before that, the Diamond Mine program, Love Spell, Tabiat, none of that was ever talked about character development. Character development came on board as a concept in the bases and the Beast program. And to this day, it's still character development. So those are the main phases. I recommend getting the IMC Evolutions document. I'm going to go grab this food, and I appreciate everybody attending. You know, I wish I could have talked more. Maybe I'll stream. I don't think I'll have time again to do it today, but I'll be in touch. Salute. Os.